We are joined in studio with a guest right out of the gates. He's going to be at Sony Hall in New York City, October 19th. After that, Irvine, California, Addison, Texas. It is a legend to me. Mr. Jeremy Piven in the house.
Ooh, what a perfect pause.
It's an honor to be here, by the way. I love you guys.
Oh,
Perfect
dude.
From afar, but now we're very close.
Very exciting to have you here. We, we said when we were in the hallway, Jacob said Jeremy came to the studio earlier and saw the flyers.
Yeah.
The Jeremy Piven flyers, and he thought you were upset with them.
You were upset.
And
I don't know if I read it wrong or not.
No, your energy makes me upset. It had nothing to do with the flyers.
Do you know why?
No.
I'm such a fan. I was like, did he get upset?
No, I was just confused. I looked down and I was in blackface on a flyer, and you know what I mean. So it was kind of like the idea of having to explain yourself for a flyer you didn't make.
Sure.
So I apologize for being honest with whatever was going on with my face.
His face.
My face
every day puts us in that mood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he's
Every
always
day.
that face.
Yeah.
Okay.
I forgot about these.
Yeah.
These were great. So what happened to explain the story
Yeah.
is that a year ago,
I forgot about.
I forgot the blackface ones.
Black History Month Pivens.
A year ago or so, you had done, I guess, an interview in here in this very studio with somebody, and had a stack of flyers for your show you were doing that year, West Nyack, I believe.
Yeah.
And
I hate to brag, but I do the gigs, guys.
I'll be there in
do
December.
West Nyack.
I'm there in December.
Okay.
They won't use me.
Bobby can't even get in there. So they were sitting in here, and I said that I said on the show, we made a bit that I'm going to make value to these, that when people just do well on the show, I'm going to whip you a Piven. You're getting a Piven sent your way. And people would start to cherish these. Just a piece of paper with Jeremy Piven's face on it and dates.
It's a Piven.
It's a Piven. I believe I've been on the road where somebody got not the blackface one.
Yeah.
But are they all the blackface ones, guys? There we go. Yeah, thank you.
But not only is it blackface, but I got the kid and play kind of situation going on with the hair. So it's a full disrespect to the black community.
It's beyond blackface, and it goes more into just overall. We just blacked you. We just completely blacked you.
It's a full disrespect to them, but it's a respect to you.
It's a respect to my hairline. That's an upgrade. Are you kidding me?
A full respect. But these things got so popular that people were yelling at shows they want a Piven.
Yeah.
Somebody got a tattoo of the flyer with those dates from West Nyack on them. I swear to God.
But here's the thing, because Jay, the genius that Jay is, he made them like Bitcoin.
Yeah.
There's only a certain amount of Pivens.
They were numbered. Oh, yes.
Yeah, you can't just get a Piven.
The Pivens were also numbered.
We did a live show where where the audience would get a Piven, and but we have to give them back. That's the rule. At the end of every
Always
show,
have to account for all the Pivens.
you have to account for the Pivens.
So here, you know what's so interesting is the reality of those flyers is I hand them out on the streets.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
You're never too old to walk around and hand out flyers, because what happens is, as you guys know, if you approach someone with a flyer, they're horrified. They want to punch you in the face.
Yeah.
And then they look up and they see it's me and they go, why are you doing this? And then it's confusion, and then it leads to a conversation. Why are you in town? I didn't know you did stand up. And then suddenly everybody wins.
It's grassroots.
Yeah, it's grassroots.
It's really getting in there.
Yeah, it's either really tragic or admirable. I don't know which it is.
It can be both.
It can be both. At the same time.
It can be admiral during the day, and then late at night, back in your hotel room, tragic.
Yeah.
At West Nyack, it would be dope if you were walking around the West Nyack Mall and Jeremy Piven offered you a flyer to his show. You'd be like, we have to go.
I used to get stickers made with all my stuff on it, and I remember I would sit there at the end of the show, and I gave them all out. And as I was walking to my car, I was just walking by all my stickers. Like a trail. So as the people going to the car, they're just throwing my stickers out. It was one of the saddest nights of my life. I just picked up my stickers, almost all of them.
That's 100%.
But that's part of why, and I'm hoping you guys are honest with me. It's so interesting because speaking of Piven's pivot. There we go.
Nice.
That's what Piven's pivot into.
I like that.
Into stand-up.
You just got yourself a Piven, my man.
I love it. Thank you, sir. Well done.
That's the kind of wordplay that gets you a Piven in this room.
I'm going to say this, too. The first Piven is the best Piven.
It is.
That's a good Piven to get.
Okay. I like it.
First
Thank
Piven
you.
of the day.
I'm honored.
You got to give it back, though. You can't take it.
Because the reality is, as you guys know, how hard stand-up is. And I dare you to even name, beside Robin Williams, a prolific. By the way, my microphone has been drooping since the moment. Can we just get some?
Damn it, Jacob.
No, it's all good. I just want the black guy to help me, please.
Black Lou, nod twice if you're okay with the Black Piven posters.
Hey, listen,
Nice.
Jay, I'm not in charge of the.
make them.
I'm not in charge of the Pivens, but I think that deserves a black Piven.
A black Piven.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. You know what? I was slipping. Damn. Yes, the Black Pivens, by the way.
How you slipping,
Black
Jay
History
Piven?
Month, Black History Month came up, and then we did a game where the Pivens were the prize, and Black Lou made the Black Piven, so it's okay.
That's crazy. I can't tell if I'm just being absolutely made fun of or celebrated, but that's the way life is.
Oh, it's definitely not made fun of at all. That's a
Okay.
guarantee. It was pure chance that this was in here. We just decided to do the thing the one day. It could have been it could have been a flyer of anything.
Yeah, we're trying
It was
to fill time.
We had a stack
I
of
love
them. So I
love
was
it.
like, hey, everyone, you could get a Piven if you do well.
Because-
No making fun of it all.
Here's the problem with the Pivens. They became so valuable in here. I mean, everybody wanted a Piven. Christine she actually got negative Pivens.
She was in Piven deficit, which is pretty funny. She would have had to
negatives.
win 10 Pivens to just be neutral.
What the hell?
For some reason, the negatives would stay with you after the show. It didn't clear at the end of the show. So I would
true.
come in like -2 Pivens. It was really a
This
sorry
is the
place to
sound
be.
of people at home going, "What the fuck are these people talking
No, they
about?"
they know exactly
No,
what
buddy,
we're talking
they-
about.
they
If we were offering Pivens right now over the phone lines would light up.
Do you know what? I'm Ukrainian, by the way. The name Piven is, and I'm not making this up. It means singing cock.
Really?
Yes, it means rooster. Okay, and I am, as you look at me, I'm identical to Zelensky. We're both Jewish. We're both actors, stand-up comics, men of incredible courage. He's fighting an evil tyrant. I'm fighting hair loss and wrinkles. Good night, everyone. Thank you for coming. You didn't know that I was going to start doing bits in the middle of nowhere.
Bobby was planning on it.
We were hoping.
Hoping for bits. I'm going to tell you what the premise is, and you're going to laugh in my face because that's what everyone did, and that's why it took me so long to get the money. But there was a short story in the New Yorker by Arthur Miller called The Performance, and it's about a Jewish tap dancer who lives in Brooklyn, and he not making it, really great at what he does, but can't make a living. And he gets offered more money than he's ever been offered to go to Berlin and then ultimately dance for Hitler. And it's funny, we were talking about how much of yourself will you compromise in this game, and that this is the ultimate metaphor for that. And my character's willing to risk it all. We did a little 1 week run for your consideration, and I got these reviews, and everyone, all the big shots, who predict these things were like, I was on a short list for the Oscars with Timothée Chalamet and blah blah blah. I mean, the role is unbelievable, and so I thought that if you do the work of your life and it's a miracle and you do this, that's enough. And everyone was like, no, bro, you need millions for an Oscar campaign. Yeah. And I'm like, no, we're good. And as you look from Menorah that won, the Oscar, they came out and said, look, we had $20 million for our campaign. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. This is documented.
It's actually like politics.
Between billboards and stuff like that.
And you got to get a screener to everyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you have to go to the parties.
Oh,
you have to meet all those people. I went to one of those parties when Mickey Rourke was in wrestling.
Yeah.
The wrestler.
Yeah.
And I went to one of those. Everybody thought I was Michael Chiklis. And I swear to God, they were like, Mike, turn around. I was just waving at people.
Bobby Kelly was Michael Chiklis' greatest character.
But I remember walking into these parties. It was every stop. I walked right. Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah. Walking
by me. Lawrence Fishburne. Everybody was at this fucking thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, why are they? They have to be. They have to
be there,
schmoozing.
and you have to get the word out. And I it's so funny that I played this character that was Hollywood, Ari, Gold, and all I've ever done in my life is show up, grind, and get out. And we were talking about schmoozing earlier. I never did it. You know what I mean? And that's not, I'm not saying it wasn't a premeditated thing. I'm just trying to do the best I can. And I usually had 4-page monologues. So, I was just, in it. So yeah, when it came time for the performance, it didn't get nominated. It happens. and the movie hasn't come out yet. But it's one of these things where I can tell you, when you see this movie, I mean, people, we're living in times where there is a lot of anti-Semitism right now, and everyone's an expert on Gaza, but it's like, do we really know what's going on over there? It's a little nuanced.
Is it gonna,
you know what I mean?
Are you afraid
Sure.
afraid that people are going to go see you do this movie, right?
Yeah.
And that's going to be a whole fan base that has no idea you do stand-up, right? Mm-hmm. So those people are like, oh my God, we got to go see him. And then they're going to come and be like, oh, what the fuck is this? Like, you know what I mean? Is that movie, that angle on the movie going to get you a whole other fan base that's going to come see your stand-up and be like, this guy's fucking a stool?
It's funny you say that, because Craig Robinson, who is one of the funniest people on the planet,
Yeah, he's great.
He's amazing. And he came to one of my screenings, and growing up in the black community, I can tell you and I mean that, it sounds like I'm doing a bit, that there is no more honest community. They will tell from doing, even if you dabble in the Chitlin circuit. By the way, I didn't come up with that name. That was
I
already
started
there.
it for years upon years.
Okay,
Actually,
you know how tough that crowd is.
The singer of Everlast actually came up with it. Go ahead.
No one is more honest than a black crowd. No one.
Nope.
You're either going to crush or they're going to destroy you.
Yeah.
And Craig watched the performance, and he came up to me, man, and the things he said to me, and he said, you're going to not do stand-up ever again now. I just saw that. You know what I mean? So he thought, because when you see something that is moving, but the reality is, I love stand-up and I love doing it, and it's addictive, and there's nothing better than thinking some new shit and going.
It's a different place, though. I got to say, that's almost my point. Like, there's something about comedy that doesn't, like, allow you to, like, if I, coming from just that, like, that I do, I would love, every time I've auditioned for acting stuff and everything, it's always tends to be like a comedy thing, it's somebody else's comedy. And anything I've ever been intrigued by that I've seen or gotten to read for was like super dramatic, yet I don't see myself being able to disconnect from like the eye rolly of funny enough to like deliver a scene, what you need to put into it to when it's over, when they yell cut, to still have to like walk away and be like, give me a second to kind of get my shit together. I feel like as soon as they yell cut, I'd be like, was that good? Did I do good? Like, it's like, it's hard like to immerse yourself like that. It's so impressive.
Because I know the discipline you guys need and the reps that you need to be as good as you guys are, and you have that in you. And I'm telling you, I won't do it now because it'll take me too long, but like we could do a power hour at some point, and I could tell you the different variables that will get you into the state where you're totally present. When you're in the zone on stage.
Sure.
You're either in that moment totally present or you're not, and you have to be to do that type of crowd work and whatever. But with acting is a momentum sport. You need momentum. You need to get off your fucking self and be totally present in that fucking moment, and then you don't even know what the hell just happened, and then you got lucky and had some fucking magic and blah blah blah. But like, I can tell you the ways to get into that, because you can do it, because you guys have also. A comic said to me, when you go back to acting after doing all this stand-up, you're going to be a better actor. And I was like, what? And man, was he right. Because the reality is, you guys were up on stage.
In the moment.
Getting those reps every night. So and it made me a better actor. And so when you see the performances, like, so much of that was my stand-up. Because the reality with actors is you're sitting idle and you're waiting for the phone to ring. You know what I mean? And you get cold. I have no rust on me because I'm just on the road doing
You've been talking
stuff.
to people, you're interacting.
Yeah. And also committing to bits and doing, act outs and telling stories. That's performing.
There is acting
there's
in
a different-
comedy for sure.
There's a different thing though, like a lot of guys hate it or say they hate it. I love being on a set. I love having a trailer. I love being around, the going in and waiting for your scene to be done and doing your stuff. And it's tedious, but there's something about it that I really enjoy. But it's more pampered. It's less vicious. You know what I mean? Like, you go to a comedy club. You know what I mean? It's like, there's some guy, hey, you mind if I sell my shirt? Oh, shit. Oh, yeah, go ahead, do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? How many tickets? Oh, we're doing good on this show, but, the football team's in town. They also had a cheerleading competition, and there's 5 other comics in town, and there's a balloon fest.
Well, the thing that's so amazing to me is, because I grew up on the stage doing plays, was actually born in New York and went to NYU, so I have all these incredible ties and love New York. But no one would ever talk to you before you get up and do a play. You know, when you're doing Broadway or whatever, everyone like gives you. But here in stand-up, they're fucking with you.
Oh, yeah.
As you're getting on stage, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it's
and
wild.
that's one thing that was like, oh shit, this is different.
Stand-up is very lonely too, if you're not a fucking animal.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much, it's this holy shit, taking photos and thank you, good night, blah blah blah, and then you're in a hotel room.
Yeah.
And you're just like by yourself. You're like,
That is the strangest part of all of it.
The
always.
transition from I was just some type of weird god to I'm just a dickhead alone.
It's an emotional thing that probably more people should talk to a therapist about in stand-up. Is that exact thing? That moment where you're like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, you're like, I was just like, there was a line of people like waiting to see me and wanted me to sign things and do all stuff. Because now I'm in socks deciding whether I'm going to get a Snickers ice cream bar or this little pack of Nestle Dibs and go eat it like a little fatso on my belly in my room while I watch YouTube videos. It's so not
but
exactly.
That's life. That's the duality of life, not to get too pretentious. I use big words, by the way.
I love it.
Don't worry about it.
You're going to fry Bobby's brain.
I know, pretentious.
But like,
I'm looking at one right now.
I feel like
I'm a real pretentious.
I live that shit all the time because we know from doing ads to get people to come to our shows like where the love is for us, and the love for me is New York. So people give it to you straight here, and if you suck, they're going to tell you suck.
Yeah.
And I walk down the street, and the love that I get from people is really it's amazing, and it makes me feel incredible. And the reality is about Hollywood is it's brutal. It's fucking brutal, and other countries are a little more loyal to those that they connect with, but with Hollywood it's like, okay, who's new, we got the fresh shit. Bro, I know 3 Emmys in a row, shut the fuck up. It's been a minute.
I think comedy
I mean?
is too, like, for the fame thing, they're always looking for that. The Hollywood is looking for what's the next thing, right? But the good thing about stand-up is you can build up your own fan base and make a beautiful career and make great money and enjoy your life, and you're your own boss. Like when all that Me Too shit and all the censored shit, no, you can't say this and that. They were like, are you worried about that? I mean, everybody I knew was like, no, that's actors. Actors have to worry about everything. You have to worry about what you're saying, what you're doing. But comics don't.
You know what's so interesting what you do? I'm glad that you just said that, because
do I get a Piven for that?
For sure, bro.
That's a white Piven. That's a white Piven.
Piven actually said he's glad I said something.
No, I really am, because you were being very honest there, and I'm glad you said it, because if I said it, it would sound pretentious in the way that actors are intrinsically held to a different standard.
Yep. And
that's just a fact. The reality is, if you're in the NFL, you could have done some crazy ass shit. They're going to put you back on that field, and if you prove yourself out there, then you win. It's all good. But actors, and I've lived through this shit, man. They hold us to this standard, and it's interesting. And with comics, it's a little bit different, but it's fascinating, because I don't know about you guys, but when I see people filming me as I'm up there, it does suck, and you got to shut it down, because the reality is, if they lift a bit out of context, you're fucked.
Yeah. And there's a microscope on you because you're an actor doing stand-up now, so they're gonna look for the reason to take a shot. That is interesting.
But now you feel like, I mean, you've been doing it. Look, when you first started doing it, I was like, what? You know what I mean? No, seriously, I'll be honest with you. I was like,
of course you
I was
were.
like, because there's a lot of a lot of actors at certain points were like, go do this. You know what I mean? But you've been doing it long enough now, and you're like you said, you're grinding it out. You're paying your dues. You've been to that small club where you're like, I gotta sell tickets. You know what I mean? You're passing out flyers. You're doing all that grunt work that you have to do to actually become a good stand-up, to build that fan base, because they're not going to come back.
No.
If you suck, you're not going back to that club.
No, but also, I come by it honestly in the way that, like, I do really respect the space you occupy when you're up there, no matter what you're doing, and you got to bring it, and you got to work your ass off. And listen, I get where you guys are coming from, and one of the great things about getting older is like I don't take anything personally. That's one of the great things about getting older and the wisdom. I've had conversations, and I'm not going to name who this comic was, but I celebrated him. He was doing some acting, and I know he had no background in acting, but I was like, I saw your shit. You're fucking great. And as I'm getting up on stage, I hear him saying, anyone thinks they could do stand up now, and points to me. And by the way,
Just a nice job.
yeah, and I was just celebrating his acting. Do you know what I mean? And so, but my point to you is that to me is inspiring because now he has to sit and watch me simply because he was after me.
Joe List is an asshole. I'm just going to say it. He's a piece of shit.
Well, you know what's
He's
so
a
funny?
narcissist, and I do a podcast. I don't like him.
But here is the funniest thing about that, though. It's those lines. It's and I think again, older and wiser, because I've been doing this now 28 years. You've been doing
That's
it 30
crazy.
years now, Bobby. I know it's nuts. How long? But like, and now I'm forgetting. Come on, get me back, Bobby.
It's crazy because I've been doing it for a long time, and you
Older,
get
wiser.
older, wiser.
Yes, wiser of getting people to. Come on, Bobby, pothead.
Getting people to see
As you
you
get
as a...
As you get older, you get some wisdom and you learn how to not take things personally.
Not taking things personally for sure.
Things don't bug you as much.
Yes, things not bugging you as much. When people, well, I said to take, I remember having that attitude of when, like, I remember one time there was like, it was like a strike years, and not even like the original strike, but one for years back, and it was like, they said Dax Shepard started doing stand-up comedy now, and something, it was like, and I remember having that kind of like, I guess anyone can just do stand-up comedy now. Right. But the reality is you get older and do it long enough and find your own lane too. A lot of that's to do with your own self, like, satisfaction in some way, to go, anybody can. Like it's a dumb statement. He goes, anybody thinks they can do stand-up. He goes, right.
But anybody can. Anybody can for a minute.
Sure.
For a while. And then it usually fades out. You've been doing it. How long? You've been like 4 years now.
I've been doing it almost 10 years on the road.
But like,
I've been touring since 2017.
Right.
Yeah. And the thing
that's
is,
a long time, dude.
Well, to civilians, to you guys, you look at me like I'm a newbie, but the reality is I'm a hybrid in the way that the stage is my home, and I've gotten notes, from I personally, because listen, one comic said to me, you know how I know you don't suck? I said, how? He goes, because everyone's silent about you, and if you sucked, they would be fucking gloating.
Oh, like shit.
Yeah, and that's the reality. That's the culture, and I get it. You guys got to work so fucking hard. And another comic said, you'll never be a real comic. And I said, why? And she said, because you didn't have to go through what we went through. Now, I went through all the trials and tribulations of an actor. I started at 8 and broke through at 40. So I had 32 years of grinding. Yeah. So I understand the discipline and I love it. But no, I don't take any of this stuff personally. When I get shit on by comics, it's like fucking great. Come and see my stuff. But I was getting these notes.
Do actors get stuff like that? Like when like a Pete Davidson comes out of just doing stand-up and blah, blah, and then gets like a bunch of acting thing. Does it go the other way where they're like, this fucking guy thinks he's an actor now? Because it seems like no one ever gives shit that direction.
That's my point.
When actors can't. Comics, we're almost obliged to. You know what I mean? We yap, we talk about each other, we trash other people. Actors, they do that very quietly behind. You'll never know when an actor is talking shit about you. Look, because you'll walk up and be like, "Oh my God, we were just talking about you. Good to see you," not knowing they were just talking about what a piece of shit actor you are. You know what I mean?
I mean, this kind of like correlates with I think where we're at in this culture right now. To be honest with you, because I think people are also dug in and defined by their opinions and their politics. That when you have a conversation with someone, for me, if you're available to have your mind changed, then we're all good. We're golden.
Are you listening to him, Paco?
But yeah, Paco, fucking listen. No, but do you know what I mean? Like
Paco.
I'm trying to get him to be a woman, and it's not working.
But my point is, like, when it's like, listen, I'm defined by my point of view, and if I let in, you're on the other team. If I let some sort of logic come in, I'm going to lose my identity. I'll lose my whole fucking identity. And I think with comics, when they look at me and they go, this fucking dude. But the reality is, if you see my set and then you say that, I'm all good. But I've gotten notes. I remember this comic was giving me notes. I was like, those are really interesting notes. Did you see my set? And he goes, I didn't see your set. but he was giving me notes. You know what I mean? So, and they were good notes, but they had nothing to do with
what you said already.
Nothing.
What?
So, and it's all, you know, I can't say who, Russell Peters, but
He's like, is this appealing to 7 billion Indians?
Yeah.
Well, then maybe rewrite it.
Jeremy,
yeah.
do you feel that you? Sorry,
Oh,
here I
wow.
am.
Okay.
Suck the
Do
energy
you
out of the
feel
room.
particular that you broke through at 40? Because I mean, for me, there's like you were in holy grail things. For me, the Larry Sanders Show is top of the mountain, especially now. Because we were talking about the other day that late night shows are 20th century model that don't seem to work anymore.
Yes.
But coming from Second City,
Yes.
and then getting the Larry Sanders Show,
Yeah.
that's huge.
It was absolutely huge, and you're absolutely right. Gary Shandling was, God rest his soul, an absolute genius, and it was my first job out of college. No, sorry, Second City was my first real job, but so you know, getting that and being able to witness that type of genius, it was the Larry Sanders Show was the first bit of original series comedy on HBO. And from that came Sopranos, Sex and the City, Entourage, blah, blah, blah. But that was so, if you even look at any of the like top 10 from the 90s, it was always Seinfeld and Larry Sanders 1 and 2, whatever. But being on that and being surrounded by that type of writing and insight was an absolute gift. So that was amazing. No, I didn't feel like a fresh face. I just think the irony of like being 40 movies into the game, being a working actor, a journeyman actor, which I still am, but like getting that award was really funny to me. You know what I mean? And none of it makes any sense how you're viewed. That's nothing. We don't need to think about how we're viewed.
Right.
That's why when I say to you, when I get shit on, you know, for doing this lane, it doesn't matter. It's inspiring to me.
Right.
Because I want you to watch, and then if you have notes, great, tell me, because I just want to get better. But once you extract,
That's how Bobby feels. I tell him, look at the comments on Reddit about you in that fucking Cupid outfit, and it'll be good as fuel for you. Fuel.
I will not.
Okay.
yeah, I mean, we know that it's not healthy to look at what people say about it.
I think that one though, you'll be surprised how positive it'll be.
Yeah.
Just give it just read like 100 of them.
Listen, what people think of me is none of my business.
I told Jay those were the two movies that the Larry Sanders. I just rewatched the William Shatner speakerphone scene,
God.
which I watch regularly.
Bro, those guys were so good. Literally, as an actor, and I was a kid when I did it. Those Jeffrey Tambor, Rip Torn, Shandling, those dudes were so funny that literally I'm in this scene, and I've been on stage my whole life, and literally there were times when my only point of concentration was to not laugh because they were that fucking funny.
Yeah.
You know, Jeffrey Tambor, you know, would just, you know, they say, how do you play comedy on camera? You play it a little more serious than drama. And this motherfucker would dig in, and he was such a fully committed buffoon. And it was I just didn't want to ruin a take because was that good. So it was an honor to be a part of that. Yeah, for sure.
The other thing.
Thank you for celebrating me.
Well, the other thing you did at the same time, which I love, is Grosse Point Blank.
Grosse Point Blank, yeah.
The scene I identify with is you keep saying, "Hey, Jenny Slater," because I was
that's all improv,
not getting
yeah.
the beautiful, still having a crush on the beautiful girl in high school.
Well,
it's
great
scene.
So I grew up since I was 8 years old with Cusack, and so those were all my guys. And there was a girl named Jenny Stone that we all were in love with and couldn't get her attention, so I just changed her name a little bit and just would improvise. And everything I did in that movie was improvised. And all those 40 movies I did before Entourage, it wasn't on the page. That's just me improvising, and they didn't yell cut, and I just kind of kept going. And that's why they put me in, any of these things, even like, yeah. And so it's funny because improvising, thinking on your feet, obviously is comedy. Crowd work and comedy. Yeah. So it all kind of informs, you know what I mean? So when people go, bro, you can't do stand up, it's like, well, brother, I've been writing comedy on my feet on sets my whole life. I know it's a little different, and bits, you know what I mean? But it's almost like, well, you were a collegiate wrestler, and how could you possibly be in the octagon? Well, that skill set translates.
More training,
Well, plus you have a stage confidence is a huge thing.
Well, that's what we're saying. You have a building block already.
Yeah, it takes a long time for you to get, like, a young comic. My advice is just get on stage, because there's a certain point where you get on stage and you're just confident enough to talk about what you want to talk about, and they get that. When you're more confident than them is when they feel that, and then they're listening to you, which is a big part of comedy. So you already had that rolling in, because you had that stage. You know how to get up there, and these people are there to see you. But is it like people were there to see you? You know, you've been on all these things. Has it changed over to these people know you just from stand-up? Well, do they? Or is it still all? Is it all?
Here's what I'm hearing after my shows, and you guys are gonna think that I'm making this shit up. But people come up to me and they go, "We didn't know you were this funny," which to me is a backhanded compliment, because it's like, wow, you've been
funny in so much stuff.
I'm over 80 movies into my career. Yeah.
I hear the same thing, by the way, every show.
So to me, it's a real shot in the arm, because it's like. Because when you're up there, it's all coming from me. When I was playing Ari Gold, I would pitch all these jokes, and the reality is Doug Ellen wrote a hell of a script, and so it was always like, well, when do I pitch it? When's the right moment? When will it best be received? And it's really it's hard to get that in there, and then so the freedom that you have when you're up there, there's nothing like it. It's so addictive. So to hear people say that about my stand-up it means a lot to me. And also selfishly, you guys know from doing press on the road, the worst question is, so what can we expect from you Friday, at the Improv? And you're like, really? What can you fucking?
Yeah. What's your closing bit?
Yeah, how about some fucking jokes?
What gay radio show are you doing?
Yeah.
Hey guys, listen. I want to do it.
You came. Was it nerve-wracking to do like heavy dramatic roles coming from? Because it seems like everything was kind of drawn towards like comedy. Second City is all funny and stuff like that. When you were younger, were you doing drama stuff?
Yeah, I mean
that's got to be a lot of it.
This will sound like I'm making this up, but I was doing Chekhov at 8 years old. But no, I swear to you.
I don't believe you. I don't.
Okay,
I think you're acting now.
Will you? If you look at the Piven Theater website,
you have a theater?
Yeah.
You have your own theater?
Well, I grew up in the theater, yeah. That's why at 8 years old, Cusack and I switched. They needed a kid.
Oh, I believe you, by the way. I was acting.
Oh, okay. That was amazing.
I was doing my acting.
Bro, that was...
I believe you 100%.
Michael Chiklis, you
I thought
little
you were
bitch.
I thought you were crossing a line. That was fucking...
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much. This is my acting thank you, by the way, when I cross my hands.
No, but but by the way, I was butchering Chekhov at 8 years old. That wasn't good.
Oh, you weren't nailing?
Oh, no, I sucked. But I was up there doing it, and so one of the things that my parents would teach us because we were kids, we would do, these Chekhov or Kurt Vonnegut or Shakespeare. We were butchering everything, but then we would do improv scenes in between. We would get suggestions from the audience as kids.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we're doing basically like, improv and crowd work as kids. So like there was no difference between comedy and drama. You commit to everything, and the reality is something is tragic and then funny. So I didn't think there was any difference. So when you say, were you intimidated? Yeah, I was a kid opposite De Niro in Heat, and I had almost no lines, but kept improvising and made a little bit of a role for myself. By the way, that was
favorite movie of all time.
It's a great movie, and I shouldn't tell this story. Yeah, it's all right. You're not in the sequel, then, sir.
I was going to say there's a sequel.
There is a sequel.
It's going to be. It's a prequel / sequel, right? It's like both. It's going to go back and forth.
I want to be in Ghost Town 2.
I'm sitting there, getting ready to audition for Michael Mann, who obviously wrote and directed it, and a Chicago journeyman actor, and you're sitting there, and after the first hour, you start to go a little crazy, and hour 2, people get up and they're leaving, and then you text your agent, and then they go, just leave. And then I had this thought: if I stay here long enough, I get to be in a scene with Robert De Niro. So I stayed there for 3 hours, and I watched. I wish I could say this actor's name, but I saw an actor crack. and he picked up the casting assistant and he threw him up against the fucking wall. And at that moment, the door opened. And it was the casting director and everyone else, and it was not a good look for him.
Tom Sizemore.
By the way, unbelievable guess because
Give yourself a Piven.
Yeah, because God rest his soul, but he was as eccentric as they come. So I walk in and there's Michael Mann. He's got the hardcore Chicago accent. Okay, you're here to do, but Dr. Bob, go ahead. And it's like my moment, and I did it, and he goes, he's got his glasses down here, and he goes, that was good. We got to do it again. And the casting director goes, he can do it. You saw him do it. He goes, well, I got to call Bob De Niro. And the casting director goes, you don't got to call Bob. Guy's got 2 lines. He just crushed it. So he made me do it again, and I did it. And ultimately, if you don't lose your mind and you stay in it long enough, you're going to live your dream.
Yeah.
I know that sounds so like I'm doing a TED Talk
a modicum
right now.
of talent, too.
You do.
Yeah.
No. You
Stop real quick. You did check off at 8.
I was butchering it.
Yeah, I was picking my nose and eating it.
So was I, but then I got up on stage.
I'm 48. I'm still unfamiliar with Chekhov.
He was in Star Trek.
Oh, they put the thing in his ear in Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is correct.
Oh, wait a second.
Classic
We
Chekhov.
have a question from the back of the room. What's up, Lou?
Hey, Black Lou over here.
Black
How you
Lou.
doing? What's going on? What was your favorite monologue from the show Entourage that Ari Gold did? Because there were so many great monologues in the series.
Yeah, that's a great question. And on that note, one of the reasons why we talked about the fact that you guys aren't great at schmoozing, I am a late bloomer to it, because I had to be word perfect on those speeches. I had to approach the whole thing like a play. So by the time I got to set, it was like I was in month 3 of a Broadway show. So I had been running these monologues for anyone who would listen. That's another secret to acting. It's like you want to put yourself in the most uncomfortable position you possibly can doing that scene, so that by the time you're on set, you're like, I've already done it for the most judgmental people in my
everybody else
kitchen.
is playing along.
Yeah, and these people are buying in, but I was in my kitchen doing it for people like, you suck, and so it's all good. So I had to be word perfect, and to the point where then you can have fun and make it feel improvisational. But I would say the breakthrough moment, it was season 1, episode 7, which was Ari's coming out party, where it's a tracking shot all the way through Josh Weinstein's house, and I get to the bottom and it's all one continuous take, and then I have a 4-page monologue, and so you had to hit it from getting out of the car and crushing it, and so that to me, because it was the coming out moment. And ironically, now that I think about it, I did kind of throw in a couple little tiny improv zingers that like somehow made it through. Let's hug it out, bitch was an improv. Little things that became catchphrases, right? But I think that moment, because up until then, you have to understand, I had one scene in the pilot. I was thought of as, a fringe player. I took a 80% pay cut to do the show. You know what I mean? And then I shouldn't tell you all this stuff, but took a very interesting, different type of contract where it was like, give me nothing. No,
if it does well.
Yeah, it's like no money, no trailer, no billing, no nothing. And then if you prove yourself, then you'll win. And that's kind of what happened.
That's great.
That was a great question, Black Lou. You're getting yourself a white Piven for that one.
It's worth more than a black Piven this month.
This month.
This month.
Exclusively